take you out of this world with the special effects of The Empire Strikes Back.
These and other features on Universe, Saturday at 8, 7 Central and 9. And the science behind a fictional universe. If you have seen this season's big space opera, The Empire Strikes Back, then you've seen this intergalactic dreadnought. And you probably have asked yourself, how in the world did they do that? I did. So to find out, I went to the hangar in San Francisco where the Imperial Star Destroyer and other fantasies are parked and readied for their next mission. That's the way it was. In case you haven't been to the movies lately, the future is not what it used to be. There's new science behind the science fiction film, and modern motion picture technology can take us places we have never been before. On the movie screens where the Buck Rogers rocket used to spit sparks, now the Starship Enterprise heads for deep space. Buck's trusty disintegrator pistol can't hold a candle to the sidearms in use on the edge of the black hole. And then there's Star Wars. On the definitive variety list of top movies, it stands 9 places higher than Gone with the Wind. People around the world paid $400 million to see it. Sales of Star Wars-inspired books, records, toys, and the like could eventually make it a billion-dollar picture. It is simply the most popular, most profitable motion picture ever made. And now it has a sequel. The Empire Strikes Back has been playing to capacity audiences since it opened in May. It has turned a 2-foot-high green creature named Yoda into a cult hero and is breaking the box office record set by Star Wars 3 years ago. Both films are made by a 36-year-old Californian named George Lucas. He took us on a tour of his facilities in Northern California to show us some of the technology behind a modern space opera.
Well, this is the stop-motion animation department, and they're making tauntauns run across the snow. They start by measuring out where everything is on the creature, because everything has to move just a sort of a fraction of an inch every time.
Are they looking at something to know what to do next, or are they just doing this out of their heads, sort of, moving it?
It's a whole art of, they studied movement. They shot animals and studied them against grids and things to study the motion. And then they practiced for months and months doing tests.
The series of still pictures, each slightly different from the one before, become a galloping tauntaun. As a technology, as a science, it's fascinating, but you're ruining my fantasies. I thought those things were real.
And this is our model storage room where we keep all the models after we finish shooting them. And as you can see,
It may be the world's most expensive toy chest. There are spaceships just inches across, others as large as coffee tables. The most complicated models took 4 or 5 people several months to build. Lucas estimates that some of them are worth as much as $50,000.
We have a scene where the Millennium Falcon flies along the edge of the ship. And so we had to take this little tiny section down here at the nose, you know, just the bare end of it, and reconstruct it to this scale. And this scale is the same scale as this. So the ship flies along, you know, like that.
Well, not quite like that. Before the Millennium Falcon could badger Darth Vader again, special cameras had to be built. The script had to be turned into storyboards with every shot planned out. Props for a whole new world had to be designed and constructed. Settings for those props had to be painted. Explosions, ray gun flares, and laser swords had to be positioned by hand in each frame. And all the elements had to be combined in a colossal multiple exposure. What are you doing right here?
Well, this is where it all comes together. This is sort of the halfway point between when we shoot the film and when it's all put together in one piece. Here we have a reel of elements. As I say, we shoot each individual element Then they come here to the editorial department, and they sync up all the elements. They put them on top of each other and make marks about where they're supposed to start, when they're supposed to stop. Then they send that over to the optical department, and the optical department then puts it together on one piece of film. Actually, go back and we'll look at that. Okay.
A painted star field, asteroids on wires, bigger asteroids, a spaceship on a stick. Movements carefully controlled to make the viewer feel like he's moving too.
The heart of this entire kind of filmmaking is the duplication of movements.
The true star of the new wave of science fiction films is a robot camera. It may not be as attractive, or as clever, or as talkative as its screen counterparts, but it allows movie makers to do things they could never do before. A ship soaring through space actually is the camera moving around a static model. Electric motors move the camera up, down, and from side to side in a sequence preset on a panel off stage. Once the robot is programmed, it can repeat a complex series of movements with inhuman accuracy, time after time. Much of the development work on the system was done by John Dykstra, now head of his own special effects house in Los Angeles. His latest project was the movie version of Star Trek.
Can I have the camera, please? This camera system, which we've developed over a period of 3 or 4 years, is capable of performing the kinds of functions that used to take people laborious hours by hand to produce.
Nearby, down Dopey Drive on the sprawling Walt Disney lot, is the ACES camera, the robot behind the special effects in the movie The Black Hole. David English is the electronics wizard behind the Disney camera. The operator sits at a computer console and guides the camera from a television monitor. The computer replaces an entire stage crew turning hand cranks and even warns the cameraman if he's about to do something wrong.
We did a shot here. It would have taken us 5 weeks to do that filming sequence of 4 different shots. We did it in 2 days. 2 days at $6,000 or $10,000 a day as compared to 5 weeks at $6,000 or $10,000 a day. So faster, and we did it better. We did it better and faster.
But that's the real world, a place of accountant-inspired high technology. For George Lucas, such science belongs behind the scenes.
We sort of go off on our imaginations, and whatever we can do to entertain ourselves is where we go, whether it's logical or scientific or not. The films have sound and space, and we violate a lot of natural laws just for sort of entertainment and enjoyment effect, which is the prime mover. But it also gives, I think, young people an interest in space generally.
The complicated mixture of sophisticated technology, space-age machinery, and starry-eyed fantasy in today's science fiction films just may serve as inspiration for a coming generation of scientists. After all, some of today's astronauts, astronomers, and anchormen once found Buck Rogers pretty wonderful.